feel like I'm on the ball today. I even felt exempted from the law today. It's like this revelation dawned on me. It's so amazing, help support the cause. I get everyone involved. I feel like I'm on the ball today. I even felt exempted from the law today. It's like this revelation dawned on me. It's so amazing, help support the cause. I get everyone involved.
It's so amazing. It is a Wednesday. The world is wacky, man. There's lots of weather and stuff going on. We have family that migrated from the West Coast over. So lots of people staying with people, and make sure your bars are stacked.
Well, we have Mike's house. It's empty, so we have some friends from Tampa and their family coming, and they're going to stay at Mike's house. So yeah, same thing. Crazy.
Is JA closed today?
Well, once the school district closed, right, then we don't necessarily close, but Broward College campus closed, then we have to close. So
got it. So
we will work remote today and tomorrow.
I figured that was in the cards somehow. Yeah, it's just prayers to everybody. How about that? Right.
Yeah. We were just talking briefly before the show about hybrid, and somebody on my team came to me and said, well, do you really think people are working when we go remote, like on these days, and I said, listen, then this is a big switch for me, because this is not how I felt a year ago. And I said, listen, at the end of the day, they got their KPIs. If they're not working, they're not working. What can I do? But at the end of the day, as we're tracking their KPIs, if they're not on target, guess what? It's going to show. So,
I've been working remote for years, and I find myself way more productive.
Debbie Hammers.
Well, I don't get Debbie Hammer. There you go. I'm working.
I know you're working, Debbie.
For me, it's that micromanaging versus macro managing. Here's where we are. You want to join us? That's where we're going. If not, you're going to get off the boat. And that's just the way it is. So we talked about that on Monday with Corey. Corey was out yesterday with Mark. Those guys are making their mark in the neighborhood. So great stuff. Last night, Florida Panthers opened up their defense of the Stanley Cup. So I was at Game 7 with my friends at Amarant. They were kind enough to invite Helen and I back to do the first game. And let me tell you something. I'm not sure which was more exciting, man. It was because there was no pressure. There was no nothing. It was just pure joy. Jay, show me the raising of the banner.
Wow, so, I got the chills.
It was a fun building to be in. They did bring the cup to our suite, as you might imagine. Helen got a picture. Top right is Matt Caldwell. What a gentleman. What a great, humble human. Had a great time. Howard and Jerry. And if anybody doesn't know, bottom right, that is Raheem Mozart, who is a Dolphin. It's converted into a Panther fan. So he was there with his family. It was just great. It was fun. You never knew what kind of game you would get.
Florida native, New Smyrna Beach.
Who's that?
Raheem.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. But
you're welcome.
Always a good time there. Always the ultimate host.
Your basket full of information.
Yeah. All of it useless.
Depends what. Yeah. Useless. Depends on what.
And I cannot start the morning without saying, let's go Mets. So Jerry Plush, the CEO of Amarant, is a big Phillies fan. And so I got there and I had the game on my little screen. And I'm sitting there going like crazy. And I look at him, he's like going up the wall because the Mets won 7-2. So there's some interesting things happening with the Mets. They're a team, looks like a team of destiny. So anyway, great stuff.
Well, and the Dodgers too. And it just proves the point. You can't buy championships.
Yeah, look at that, man. With all that money, they are a game away from elimination. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so we got baseball. We got Firing of the Jet head coach. It is nutty what's going on. But Jake and I had a great conversation about a memo that went out to all the Delta employees and prospects, as they recruit. There's a new memo that came from Home Depot that says corporate employees, will have to try working in actual stores. Get out of the White Tower. The company plans to mandate that employees work 8-hour retail shifts at one of its stores every 3 months, Bloomberg reported. What do you think of that? I mean, there is that Toyota way kind of thing. So what do you think?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, speaking of the Toyota way, City Furniture does that. Andrew gets out, right, and spends a day on a truck with the driver, right? Spends a day in the warehouse. We do the same thing. I would listen, every board member of JA has to volunteer in a program. Now, we only do it once. You have 6 hours. You could do it once, or you could do it 3 times. You can't tell the story. You can't know how you're operating. You've got to be in the mix of it. You can't just stay up here. You really have to get into it, I think, every once in a while. I don't know if it's every 3 months. That might be a lot. But I would say at least once a year, twice a year.
I'm an absolute big fan of it. I love it. Yep. I think, growing up in retail, especially, you can't sit in the office and know what's going on in the front. You got to be there. You got to hear it. You got to listen to what people are saying, comments. One of the things about watching The Bear, which if you haven't seen it yet, you have to watch it.
Have to start it.
Is all the communication that happens between the people on the front line, hearing people say, oh, they're cold, whatever, and, them sending notes and reacting. So I think it's a great idea. Certainly, I love that corporations are getting involved. They're getting their hands dirty. So what a cool way to kick off a wacky Wednesday. Shay, do you have what day is it?
Woo.
It is.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-woo!
It never gets old.
I was just going to say, it's always funny, no matter how many times you see it.
Fantastic. Shay, wake this thing up so we can do daily affirmation and get to some fun stories. All right. Always talking about mindset and things that, put us in the right place. I'd say most of my conversations are centered around, what happens up in the brain. Lori, would you do us the honors on your Wednesday? Read us today's effort.
I'd love to. Something special awaits you each day. All you need is to recognize and make the most of it. Have a positive attitude throughout the day, and then that today is going to be the best day of your life.
You can, will it, want it. And today that specialness is David Rose is joining us from
hi David
Entertainment. So
we're working on how to work together. So love it.
Yeah, I had a great conversation with him as well. Who knew that his brother Peter's a big fan of the show, and so it's the world is very, very, very small. Speaking of small, speaking of safe. I'm a junkie for all of this information that comes in. They came out with a report, the safest cities in America. Okay. South Burlington, Vermont is the safest city, followed by Casper, Wyoming, Warwick, Rhode Island, and Boise, Idaho. So I ask you this.
What do they have, 10 people in them?
I ask you this, it's like, they're safe, but nobody's there. It's boring as shit.
Who's there?
So who the hell wants to be there, man? There's no activity. There's no nothing. conversely, they came up with the most dangerous cities, and this one is a little alarming. One of them, the most dangerous city, is Memphis, Tennessee. Wow, that was a shocker. But I've been there before. It's an interesting city.
It's
That's
a
where
tough city.
Stanford Financial was based, there and in Houston. So it was a very interesting city. But among the 5, Fort Lauderdale.
Wow, I was going to say Miami.
Fort Lauderdale. Wow. So
Wow.
in order, Memphis, followed by Detroit. Number 3 is Lauderdale, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans. So
wow. I'm shocked that we are in the top 5 of the most dangerous neighborhoods or cities. Wow.
I don't see it. I don't feel it. I mean, it's a little, we have a homeless issue. Yeah, but so
everybody
does
has a homeless issue.
in San Francisco. Everybody has a homeless issue. So
wow.
Crazy stuff. So in my quest for finding great information for us to talk about, and if anybody ever wanted to check, I have a Huddle file of all of these stories that never get told. I put them there, and then
they're all printed out.
Well, today's are for sure. So I know they go to print when it's appropriate. Nick Saban just came up with this video. I am so loving his new content, meaning his bridge from where he was to where he is, looking back at his career, looking back on the decisions he made or didn't make. His self-awareness is completely off the chart. Shay, give me Nick Saban about transformational leadership.
The quarterback. And Nick, people talk about this concept of losing a team when things start to go sideways.
Well, I think you have a greater chance to lose your team when you're transactional as a leader, which is the way I was until 1998. In other words, everything was about winning or losing. And when we won, I patted people on the back. But when we didn't win, I was probably too harsh, didn't use it as a teaching moment. And negative experiences without teaching kills morale. In 1998, we were going to play Ohio State. They were number 1 in the country. We were 4-5 at Michigan State. They were getting ready to fire me at Michigan State. And I don't think we can win the game. So I said, what's my approach going to be? So I had to change into being a transformational leader. Somebody who was somebody that players could emulate, cared about the players for their benefit, not my benefit, had a vision for what we would accomplish and how we were going to do it, and had value-based principles that were going to help them be successful in life. And play one play at a time. Everything's about process. Nothing's about outcomes. And we became a different kind of team. We actually won that game. It turned around. And my coaching career actually changed 360 during that time as well. I didn't have a great record before that game. Had a much better record after that game.
You think?
So
look at the difference in the record right there.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It's cool for you to basically say you were that guy.
I was that guy.
I was that guy.
This one, I love this. I love this.
I mean, I get chills because the only way to really know, and I think, I've said this to people, I think the reason why I can coach the way I coach is I was that guy. I did not do any kind of transformational leadership. It was all transactional. What the hell are you doing for me? We got to do this. This is our number. What's wrong with you? It was always berating and negative. And, one of the things he said was negative experiences without teaching, really ruin a company. So I want you to comment on all this stuff.
Yeah. So I think, first, I think part of the evolution, right? I grew up in a time of leadership that was not transformational. It was transactional, right? I had bosses like you just described. And so that's what I saw. But I also know that, I didn't want to be a yeller and a screamer and put people down, but it was very, very different. It was all about bottom line, right? It was all about results. Nobody cared about the people so much. Now I've had to evolve over the last, 10, 15 years. It feels better. I can tell you that. It took years. And I continue to work on it constantly because also being a finance person, right? My first thing is to go to the bottom line.
Bottom line, baby, bottom line.
So I think it's But again, it comes back to self-awareness. It's even in sales, right? We talk about this with sales and development. Do you want to be transactional? Do you want to be transformational? Because if you want to be transformational, it's about building relationships, right? That's the transformation, comes from building that trust, building the relationships, whether it's to win games or to raise money or to sell products.
So, I love, because he said outcome based. He was always based on the outcome. That's how he reacted, So, you look back in your career and your life, that's what we were trained, is that's all that matters. The bottom line is you either did it or you didn't do it. When Mark will tell you that failures, and we all know now that failures are where all the learning happens to make you better and grow. And, so I love Nathan Harkey. Welcome. Good to see you, my brother. As bad as he wanted to dislike Saban. And listen, there's a lot of people. I had a conversation with somebody from LSU yesterday, and, Coach Saban coached there and then left them. So they hate Saban. But he was even saying, the guy did bring us a championship and change the culture of how we do things. And I know you're knee deep in changing the culture. And when you look back from when you started this journey for yourself and what's happening now, God, the results are so significantly different.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not only about you changing your style, right? And going from transactional to transformational or becoming transformational. It's also about the leaders under me, right? The whole organization. How do I help them to become transformational? Because I've learned one thing. First of all, you're always building a culture. You just said, I'm building the culture. I've been building the culture for 10 years, and it will continue for as long as I'm there, right? Because you're always getting new people into the culture. And so, right. So it's always about making sure you're bringing on the right people that fit into that culture. It's about continuing to grow them to make sure they fit in. And this is a big part of that. Like, this video is going out to my team, right? Yeah. My leadership team today. I mean, because I need them to see that they need to be transformational as well. And I can't do that with them if I'm not willing to change and continue to grow and evolve.
So that's an
right.
interesting
So
point.
You got to be careful. If you're not doing it, you won't do it.
And I think that's the real change in style or in the culture, is that if you're not doing it, why would I do it? That's why I love when organizations that I work with, right, whether it's LinkedIn or whatever, they're in the workshop with me. They're doing it. Say, look, if I could do it, you can do it. So fantastic subject, fantastic conversation. I'm on this thing, 90s one-hit wonders. Oh,
love it.
Jay, give me Dog's Eye View.
Don't look now. Things just got worse. I'm drunk again. I swear this present is just a curse. I got here by killing off all my friends. I think I figured out my life begins when fun ends. I got my wings, I'm free to go as I please. Yeah, I got my wings, now nothing really pleases me till everything falls apart. Then I get to try to put it back together. Yeah, it falls apart, and you count on that, count on bad weather again.
I don't care what you say, man. The 90s had
Love
some
it.
great music, great music. You listen to that kind of stuff. So, I mean, literally, I'm so knee deep in this 90s one-hit wonders. It goes on and on and on. And so the reason I picked this one is, number one, count on bad weather. That's one of the lines in the song is count on bad weather. And you know what? There's bad weather coming. There's nothing we can do to control it. That's what's so significant for all of us to know. So if things are going bad in your business, in your life, or whatever, what do you do about that? Or if you're trying to solve a difficult problem, right? There he is. What's up, man?
I just get a hug from Patrick. How was
Listen,
that? Was that on
it's a
cue?
wonderful thing. You are blessed to have that.
Gee.
Good morning, Patrick. What's up, my brother?
I am.
How you doing, man?
And listen, when things are going bad, that's what I do. I get a hug from Patrick.
So I'm always looking for these.
How do you top that? You can't
Right.
top that.
So I'm always looking for these hacks, these things that we can do. And they wrote an article about Steve Jobs. So he said, stuck on a tough problem or a situation, do what Jobs would have done, and that's follow the 10-minute rule. So what is the 10-minute rule? The answer to that question be you stand up and go for a walk. And the walk can be inside, can be outside. Walking makes your brain work a little bit better, helping you crack problems and situations that stumped you while you're sitting. That's why at least one modern neuroscientist recommends we all make like Jobs and follow the 10-minute rule. So I'm just going to share a story. Years ago, I get invited to go to Facebook in San Francisco. Zach Stein and I, Zach was the president at the time, get invited out there. And it's by far the coolest office I've ever been in. It's massive, 2 big offices. At that time, it was Sheryl Sandberg and, Mark Zuckerberg. We're walking through, they had a cafeteria or whatever. And the girl who was doing our tour, which they did regularly, said, wait till you get to the roof. And I'm like, the roof, what's on the roof? She goes, boom, let's go. Boom, we go up to the roof. And they basically duplicated Central Park on the roof. It looked like Central Park. And you scheduled walking meetings where the entire meeting was everybody walking in a group and talking and whatever. So I want your take on what is walking. Are you there?
So, being on the campus, our building. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Steve, you got me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So being on the campus at Broward College, often I'll pull up like from a meeting and coming back to the building or leaving, and I'll see some of our team members in groups of 2 or 3 walking around the building. And it's just, first of all, 2 things. One, they're getting a little exercise, right?
Right.
Women. And so they're building their steps into their day, but they're also talking, right? Whether they're talking about a business problem or they're just helping each other, or maybe they just need to vent about something, right? It's good that they have that time to step away from the desk, so I think it's a great idea.
I think that's part of the magic, is that you step away from the problem and then you come back and you see it different, or, any of that kind of stuff. We are up on time today.
Yep.
Everybody batten down, be safe, be smart, prayers out to everybody. Looks like everybody's doing the right thing. They've evacuated. Tomorrow morning, you'll see Mark and Jake bringing it up. And then make sure to tune in on Friday. Steve Newman, CEO of Closet Factory. What an unbelievable company. Can't wait to dig in with him and all of the processes and the things that they've done to really just unbelievably scale. Make it a great day. If you want more of this stuff, ontheball.co. Check us out. Look forward to seeing you guys soon. Let's get down to business.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down,